The boys are back. The boys are back. How does it go? The boys are back. Wanna give it to you.
I don't even know it. I know it's the Backstreet Boys, but I don't know.
No, it's High School Musical.
I'm gonna say it. Have sex with a Scorpio.
I could glute bridge your dad. I'm naked. Hold on.
We will be flicking the beans to that.
If she's tatted and I take meth, is somebody in your house right now?
But you know what? Fuck your ass.
Yeah, I had sex last night.
You can make your own money. You can literally have your own job of your dreams. You can own your own house. You can own your own car. You can pay all your fucking own bills. So what is that man? That man is sex and a best friend, and that's it.
I heard nothing but the truth.
Oh. I thought you were going off the Backstreet Boys.
No, remember when they're like in the like junkyard and they're like dancing around?
Oh, yeah.
That's what that's from.
Boys are back, gotta save the day.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking
And
about.
it does like the flashback when like Chad and him are like little kids and then they're like older.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Were you a High School Musical girly?
Yeah,
I
was.
I had mixed feelings. It's not that I didn't like it, but I definitely liked Camp Rock better. I think because I was a dancer and Camp Rock was more about like they had background dancers and Allison Stoner was in it, who also was in like Step Up and stuff. So like I was just more into that.
I mean, I was also a Camp Rock girly because I was a Jonas Brothers girly. So like I liked it for that. But like I thought that like the Jonas Brothers, because me and my sister loved the Jonas Brothers so much that like Camp Rock, they like
the ick.
Kind of, because they didn't act like themselves.
Right. They were fake. They were like a fake boy group.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, they weren't acting like just them.
Yeah. So I feel like it was kind of like, a little bit, but we still liked it. But I loved High School Musical.
Gotcha.
Like, yeah.
I saw a TikTok the other day and it was like Ashley Tisdale talking with Luke. What was his name? Lucas. But his name in the movie was Ryan, Sharpay's brother. They were talking on like a podcast or something about how like they hated each other, the whole recording of that, and like they were like, she was like, he was the only person I didn't get along with, and he said the same thing about her. And so he was like, every single time on set, like when they would rap, they'd be like, okay, are we good? Like, we're not doing this again, right? Because like they hated each other. And then they were talking about like looking back on it, they're like, I don't know why though, like I just hated you. And I was like, it's a sibling rivalry. Like it rubbed off on y'all, like the fake siblings like rubbed off IRL.
No, that's so true. Because like my sister, I mean, I don't hate her, but like when I was younger,
no, I talk about this like with my parents all the time, and it's like I didn't like my brother until we were like in college.
Yeah.
Like when bless you.
Sorry, I felt that coming for so
You're
long.
Good. I liked him before he could talk, and then when he started talking, I didn't. And then I liked him again when he like his frontal lobe was like developing. It's about to be done developing, so hopefully then I'll really enjoy his company. But right now it's like I love him, but like we definitely still have like tiffs.
Well,
you know
like
what I mean?
My sister and I, like my sister is 5 years older than me, so like we grew up just like different. Like we didn't have the same friends. Like she was like the cooler older sister that like I tried, because I'm also like the annoying younger sister. So like it's also like a different dynamic. Like you're older than him, so it's also like
but he was way cooler than me. Like it like in terms of like popularity.
Oh,
like his friend
Kern
group was way cooler than mine. Like I was not.
Kern was technically cooler than me as far as like, because she like her and her friends like dated all like the football boys and like all that kind of stuff like that. That wasn't me, but it was still like, I don't know. I guess in that way, she was cooler. But I was looked up to her, and she like hated me because I was like the annoying younger sister. Like I wanted to tag along and do all the things, and like she didn't want that. Like she was trying to like, go make out with her boyfriend underneath the bleachers, at the football game.
And you're like the tattletale annoying girl.
Yeah, basically. And I was like a goody two shoes, and I still like am. Like I'm like definitely like a rule follower, and definitely more like I'm still like, I'm not here to like not have fun or like be a narc or anything like that, but it's like I still definitely am more like type A in that way compared to my sister. Like even now she's like, who literally gives a shit? Like let's go do this and have fun. And I'm like, that's like illegal. Yeah. And so it's really not. I just am like, we can't do that. And she's like, no, we're going to. And it's like always ends up being fun. And like that's why her and her husband, like they honestly are so much fun. And I seriously think it's like stuff like that. But to me, I'm like, oh no.
It like gives you anxiety.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, me and my brother are definitely like, I think we're too close in age. I think that's the issue.
See, I think 5 years is like a nice age gap because like growing up, like obviously like when I was in like elementary school, she was in middle school, and then when she was in high school, I was like going into middle school, and then she graduated, and then I was in high school. So like we never had that like overlap of like too much. I don't know. My best friends in high school were twins, and they loved it. But you can't really change being a twin.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like twins are just different.
Yeah.
Their bond is just different.
Definitely than like a normal sister. Because they had an older sister that was my sister's age. And like they had that sister rivalry like with her. Like, I don't know. They like ganged up on her together.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
They're like the twins. Like, you can't come at the twins. But then they would go at each other, of course. Because it's just like, you know how it works.
Yeah.
But no. I don't know. I feel like 5 years was like perfect. Because like now it's like I can look to her for like certain things and like certain guidance of like being an adult.
Right.
But like also, I don't know. I think it's a good age.
But also like I feel like because it's not like this huge age gap that like she could do the same for you. Like advice wise. Where it's like my older brother, I don't think would ever ask me for advice. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I feel like I could see like your sister, because like I do that with my younger brother. It's like we'll ask each other. Yeah. Or like do the things like that for each other. But like my younger brother is 11 years younger than my older brother. So like it's not both ways. It's definitely like my younger brother looks up to my older brother and like goes to him for advice. But I don't think I could see my older brother ever asking my younger brother for advice.
Yeah, that's so true. Like me and my sister are like, it's twofold. Like, yeah, I'll do it to her, she does it to me. Like the way we reach out is like the same. Right. Like, we have like similar interests because like we still aren't like far apart in age. So it's like trends and things that we both enjoy. Like we are both enjoying it. Yeah. And like, I don't know, which is cool.
Yeah, that's like me and my older brother, like almost. But there's still like that disconnect of like, okay, we're 9 years apart. So like culturally, like pop culture especially, there is this like, he'll send me shit that happened like 8 months ago that he is just now seeing and be like, oh my God, you have to check this out. And it's like, see, no, I hate being like, I know. No, my sister
definitely watches more TikTok than I do. Like she's more on the trends than me because I'm just like, I don't have the time right now to like sit and scroll. Yeah. And when I do, it's like me falling asleep. So I don't even care about what I'm looking at. It's just like mindless until I fall asleep.
My younger brother doesn't do TikTok. He does Instagram Reels. And so that's just like, I can't talk about it.
I love Instagram Reels. Unpopular opinion, I love them.
I feel like people who watch Instagram Reels like them because they're bad and they don't make you sit there for a long time. Where it's like TikTok feeds you what you want to see 90% of the time. Sometimes it's bad, but I'll sit there for like an hour and be like, oh fuck, I didn't even realize how long I've been sitting here. Instagram Reels, it's like this. Maybe I just don't use it enough, so I'm not feeding the algorithm, but it's never shit I care about.
No, see, I like it because it's just random bullshit. Like it's not the same thing. I mean, you definitely can like feed the algorithm, but because of the way that Instagram is set up now is like you don't even see half the people that you follow anymore. It doesn't
give a fuck.
So it doesn't give a fuck. Like it's literally giving you random stuff all the time. You could go from like beauty to like men's stuff to like girl, like it's like always changing. Yeah. Which I kind of like sometimes because sometimes I think that if you watch a video for a little bit too long on TikTok, that's all you see the rest of the time. Totally. Like literally last night I was on TikTok and I saw like the first video was like the whole Travis Kelce and like Taylor Swift, like her singing.
Oh, Karma
like,
or whatever.
Yeah, Karma is the guy on the Chiefs thing. Yeah. And like.
Which was a bit cringe to watch like the dad and him. Like the dad's interaction. I was like, okay, dad, you're doing a bit much.
No, I thought it was cute. I thought it was cute. But like, so I like watched that video. Yeah. And then the rest of the time it was all like every other video was like the same thing. Which is, that's what pisses me off about TikTok. And so I don't even care about that stuff.
Right. Like, I saw one video.
Like, I'm good. Yeah. I'm good. And that's what I think I appreciate more about Instagram Reels. It's like you see it one time, you're good. And it doesn't really circle back. It might like 12, 13 videos later if it's like a trending thing. Right. But it's not like all they're trying to push to you. Because the one thing about TikTok, like, I don't understand my TikTok algorithm right now. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. It's nothing specific to me. Honestly, I've literally been trying to like look stuff up on TikTok so it feeds me more on like the algorithm of like beauty stuff or like fall outfits or like whatever the hell I want to like see more of. Like honestly, because I've been trying to be more, and like if you watch like this past week's YouTube video, I do like a get ready with me and I talk about like, it's more like was like a therapy type talk that I like had going on, of just being like, this is where I'm at in my life right now.
Right.
Like I want to be like more in like a soft girl era and like do things for me, because recently I feel like I've been like doing a lot of things for other people to like appease other people, and like not that I necessarily am 100% of the time, but I just feel like I'm not like,
you're not like choosing yourself.
I feel like I'm not really like honoring myself, and I don't feel like I've been for like the past couple of months, and like whatever, I was like talking about it, the whole thing. So like in my Instagram algorithm, I'm trying to like change it so it is like stuff that I want to consume, that's like soft girl life and like whatever, and then also hopefully try to inspire me to make content that I want to create. Because the thing is, my TikTok is so horrible that I'm like, would never make any of this content. So there's no inspiration for me to make anything. If that makes sense. That was a whole whirlwind of me being like, it's terrible.
Mine, I'm sorry guys, I am sick right now, and so I keep getting like this tickle in my throat. But my TikTok currently is it's actually like pretty, this might be a cool topic to talk about, and by cool I mean not like cool in like a cool awesome way, in like a current events kind of sad horrible way. But so my TikTok is like all the stuff happening in like Palestine right now, and it's more like educational content. But like 3 days ago, which in your time is probably like 5 days ago, close to a week, Brittany Broski, like this one influencer posted on her TikTok and was like calling out all these giant influencers for not like saying anything about the like everything happening in Palestine and between the US relationship with Israel and like everything going on. And it basically called out influencers for being like, you want to act like you're this big advocate for, you know, people who don't have a voice. And like, I guess in a podcast that she posted like a couple of months back, she specifically said like, if you have a platform this big and you're not using it for good and like giving voice to the people who don't have one, you don't deserve a platform. And so people are calling her out, and they're like, dude, it's been over a month since like information has come out with everything regarding, you know, what's happening in Palestine. And I mean, this set like goes way back further than that, but at least for like social media wise, like people started talking about it like about a month ago. And so Brittany like made this long video like talking like circles around herself, basically like kind of taking accountability for not really saying anything, but also she was like, I just don't feel like I was educated enough to like say X, Y, and Z. All this to say, I'm definitely in the field of like, if you have a platform and you have a following, like it is your responsibility to like put out there like your support for people who like need it. That way like your followers can like become more woke and like realize what's going on in the world and like how this is going to affect literally millions of people. And like, I mean, it's a genocide funded by the United States government. It's basically what's happening right now. And so it just, I went down the spiral of like all these content creators being like, is it the responsibility of people with a big platform to say anything, or like they're not political, so like they shouldn't say anything. And Sarah Schauer is a comedian and she's also a content creator, and she made a really great video talking about all of it. And she's like, here's the thing, it's not happening to us here, so the least that you can fucking do is post an Instagram story about it. Where it's like during the Black Lives Matter protest, like if all you did for that, and it was happening in our country, like in our backyard, was just you posted a fucking black square and you were like BLM, and that's all you did, it wasn't enough. Because like it's happening here, like you need to be out in the streets, you need to be like rallying and like signing petitions and like X, Y, and Z. But because it's something that's happening across the ocean, the least that you should do is to like at least post a story or something. And so like she made such a great point of like, even though we're not like political people, we have following so large that it's like it kind of is your duty to just like say some shit, at least acknowledge it, like at least be like,
I think that it's like your responsibility to bring awareness, because like that's the point of social media now, isn't to get a check off of a brand deal and not to promote like, I don't know, fucking digestive gummies and like whatever and get your bag. And like, yeah, there's a point for that as well. But like, if you're gonna have, I think and I'm not great at it either, of like staying like up to current events in the world. Like obviously I know it's happening, but like am I super educated on it? No, I'm not. But the thing is, I would probably say a lot of the influencers that I do follow either just quickly posted something like pray for Palestine and was it out?
Yeah.
Or
it was like checking a box.
Yeah, like it was like either like a check at the box, but like it didn't help educate me as the consumer of their like content. So I'm not saying that they're wrong for it either, because like they still at least like tried. But I think there is a point to it too where it's like, okay, I as a consumer also should be receptive to wanting to see that stuff and like educating myself, right?
Yeah.
But then also it is the responsibility of people who do have that platform to not just make a check off of skinny teas.
Well,
and
because
like whatever.
a big like the big like moral, you know, debate that was happening is like, okay, all of these companies are in support of Israel, like Coca-Cola, Starbucks, McDonald's, all these major companies, because they're funding like the U.S. military efforts to basically go there and quite literally bomb the people, the children, these innocent people that it's like shouldn't be involved, you know? And so the argument was like, well, like they still have to make money and they still have to pay their people. So like, what do you expect them to do? And this content creator made a great point, and they were like, yes, but that is blood money and we know it. If we were ignorant and we didn't know it, it might be different. But like, we've seen the videos from the Palestinian people like showing what's happening, and like Israel literally using human shields, and like it's just barbaric and disgusting. But I just thought it was like a really great point to bring up. Like, it's like at what, I think because the way that the world is right now, especially social media, it's like those people, you know what, like whether we like it or not, this 21-year-old girl who makes more than me and you will make in a fucking lifetime in 4 months, like has such a large audience, it is kind of her responsibility to at least acknowledge what's going on. Is it her responsibility to report the fucking news every single post? No, but to like be so blatantly ignoring it and like not even mentioning anything that's happening is just like kind of crazy. So all that to say, like, we are definitely in support of Palestine, free Palestine. It's so fucking disgusting. And I feel like recently, because of my exposure to all of that, I'm like realizing like, yes, the United States is fucked up and it's horrible and our rights are getting taken away, but I can like walk outside and not be afraid that like a bomb is going to drop on my head. And like when I was thinking about that, I was like, your brand deal's not fucking worth it. Yeah. Like, sorry, but like that 10K that you're making for this Instagram post like is corny to me. And it's quite literally blood money. So like, I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting because like these super, you know, well-known influencers, and like Brittany Broski, I love her. Like, she's one of my favorite creators of all time. But it was interesting where it's like, we've talked about this before, it's like, your heroes will always let you down. And like, this is one of those things where I was like, damn it. Like, you kind of disappointed me with her response to it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see her response.
Her whole thing was like, she was waiting to get more educated, and then she wanted to put it out on her podcast, which is her, quote, biggest platform. But she only has 400,000 subscribers to her podcast, and her TikTok has over 8 million, and her backup TikTok has over like 6 million. So people were like, what do you mean? Like, you're just kind of like digging a hole for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I guess where she should have said it, whether she meant this or not, but have been like, it's a place that I can have like a longer formed like conversation, or like I'm able to like express my feelings in a different way on my podcast than I am through like TikTok. Like on my TikTok, I feel like I have to be like silly and ha ha he he, where like on my podcast I'm able to like sit down and actually have like a real raw lengthy conversation with my listeners. Like, I feel like that's how you'd approach that.
But first being like, I did fuck up. I should have talked about this months ago.
It shouldn't have mattered where I put it. Like, I should have already should have been like educated and whatever. I mean, the hard part is though,
and this is like, I don't want anybody to think I'm like, this is the right answer, this is the wrong answer. I just think it's an interesting topic with the world that we live in.
I like,
and the way that the media is so corrupt, but like things like social media, we don't have those like barriers on them yet of like, withholding information. The way like traditional news media, you know, they filter through shit to make the US look the best. Even at times when the US is the worst, it's still not going to be the whole truth. Where it's like social media isn't really like that. I mean, we saw that with TikTok went to trial and like they tried to restrict our access and the people were like, fuck no. Like this is our one true like sense of like what's actually going on in the world. So like anyways, but
I mean, I feel like it's like a weird like, yeah, you need to acknowledge it, but I also feel like people on the internet are so quick to like jump down influencers' throats for like taking a side or not taking a side or being this person or not being this person or supporting this and supporting that or not and like whatever. So I think that like a big part of it, like yes, you have a platform in which like you are able to like get the word out to a lot of people,
right?
But also I think just like cancel culture of any capacity, it's like they're still also human, and like whether it goes to their content or not, I'm not defending anybody anything, but I just think that like overall, this isn't without the Palestine like take that out of the equation. Overall, I think that a lot of people are super quick to jump on influencers for not doing or being or not being,
and just like dogpiled comments,
right?
And,
so like there's no winning. So if she talked too much about it, she's wrong for it. If she doesn't talk about it at all, she's wrong for it. If like, you know, and I just feel like sometimes you probably don't feel like you're never right. And also for someone who isn't educated or that's not their like go-to content of consuming or whatever, like, I mean, to be honest with you, like with her, if her algorithm is like my algorithm, like I don't really see stuff like that. Like I know I like see it, but it's not like down my throat in my algorithm for anything. Yeah. Whether that's right or that's wrong based off things I'm liking or not liking. Yeah. But it's still like, obviously you know it's bad. Right. But if you're not consuming content that shows how bad it is, right, you're like, oh, just a little silly little thing is happening over there. Yeah. And like, I don't mean that in like any sort of way, but it's just like, I don't know. I'm just saying overall, people are just really quick to jump down influencers' throats for everything. Yeah. I mean, they're definitely held to a standard that nobody else is. Like, we're not even holding our own congressmen to this, and women to the same standard in terms of like taking a stance or like voicing like what they're in support of. Right. And I mean, but in that same breath, somebody like Brittany Broski, who is very like, whether she wants that like title or not, constantly is talking about like politics. And so I think she does talk about very woke topics. I think her audience was just a bit disappointed because it's like, you know what's going on. Yeah. You're not a fashion blogger who like doesn't like ever touch grass or like anything. Like, you know, like what's happening. Yeah. I mean, like she's friends with like Hassan and like all like, and he's like a giant political like content creator. So like, you know what I mean? Like that's, I think, when people were disappointed. But I just thought it was an interesting topic because the normal person, you wouldn't really like, I wouldn't like, if like, let's say like my friend from high school didn't post anything about it, I wouldn't be like, oh, why aren't they posting anything about it? But you know what I mean? But it's like because they don't have a following and like it's so I think it is just interesting, like the duty that's placed on content creators now, because like that is our source of information, the way that like traditional news for our generation isn't. Right. Like but I'm not watching the news. But I also think the hard thing is like you have to understand that, not you. Yeah. People like, is that like they didn't necessarily sign up to be the news. Yeah. So like, to hold them to that standard as if they're a news station is also kind of crazy to think. Now, are they in a place where like they have a voice of something? They do. So it's like, it's so twofold because there's no right answer. I mean, it's just, they should, but also it's also like, that's not, I don't know how to like. Yeah. It's just like, I just thought it was like an interesting like moral debate that like I had been like, that's what my whole For You page is for like the past like month, is basically all. Oh really? Because mine has been Taylor Swift and I don't really know how I got there. It's just the saddest, most disgusting shit that you've ever seen in your life, and like it makes you like really, not that I've ever been proud to be an American, quite frankly, but like makes me really disappointed in like our president and B, like the presidents like coming up who are trying to be like, oh yeah, like we'll support Palestine, but you know that's just like they're running tickets so the American people will vote for them. Yeah. Aka Donald Trump, who's all of a sudden pro-Palestine. I'm like,
huh, where is this coming from? Like out of nowhere, trying to weasel his way back into the office. But then you go look at all the other options and you're like, we are actually fucked. Like in terms of like what's out there. But not to like Kid Cudi this shit and just go like super dark and emo. But like that's been my social media recently. And so yeah, I was talking, I mean, we talk about this sometimes, and it's like the whole, or maybe I was talking to my friend about this, and we were talking about like this idea, not about Palestine, but more of like just tragedies that happen in the world, and like whether that's like abortion rights in America or like dogs not getting adopted and going to kill shelters. It's like, but also it's like you can't save everybody, like as a person. And like she was talking to her therapist about like, she's like, I just see so much dark in the world, and like I just feel like I can never like get out from under seeing all of that, and like feeling like I'm not doing enough, or like getting angry at like my generation for like not speaking up. But then it's also like we're all kind of in the same boat where we're like, this is also everybody else's first time on the planet, and like we're all kind of navigating it through the same thing. And it's like her therapist was like, yes, but like, is it your, like if you do this, is that really going to change it right this second? And she was like, well, no, but like if enough people do it. And she's like, yeah, and that's awesome. And like there's places that like that's great, like have your voice be heard, go to rallies and go support X, Y, and Z, and like call your congressman and do all the things. Like that's not what she was saying, but she was more saying like you don't need to be thinking about impending doom all the time.
Yeah,
because it's not going to change.
Well, and also
in that second,
I feel like also this thing is too like, okay, you go and you like, it's not going to change in that second. It's gonna make you feel great in that second. It's more validation for yourself in that moment,
right?
But like the physical change isn't going to happen,
right?
But then it's also like for someone, I can assume who you're talking about, like for someone like her who thinks this way about a lot of different things,
right?
It's like, okay, you might have helped one thing over here, but then her brain automatically switches to, okay, well there's 6 other things,
right. Like what else can I go do?
Yeah.
And it's that's like such a hard thing, I think, as like I think that's okay. This is like getting super political, so I'm so sorry if you don't like agree with what we're saying, or like this is like, what are you going on about? This will be my last thing. But that is really the difference between being woke and acknowledging the bad and understanding like this shit is going on, and being willfully ignorant to being like, well, I don't know what's happening, so like it's fine, everything's sunshine and rainbows. And I think there is this like sense of like urgency and sense of responsibility when you are woke and you do realize like all of this horrible stuff that's happening, to like, I got to do something about it right now. And like, yes, you can try your hardest, but it's like not just up to you. And that's why more people need to become woke, so like less responsibility falls on a smaller number of people, and it can be spread out and blah 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 blah. But it is this kind of dark spiral that sometimes I find myself in when I start thinking about all the bad, because I do know, like I've educated myself, I've looked out into the world, and I've realized all the corruption and the horrible things happening even on our own soil in terms of politics, whatever, like specifically in Tennessee. It's like we're fucked here politically. But it is hard, like the mental toll that it takes on you when you are educated and you understand what's happening. So yeah, that's all I wanted to like say on all of that. I just like felt like I want you guys to realize that like we also know that it's really hard. Like the world is shit right now, and like we acknowledge that and like understand and sympathize with people who are in worse situations than us. And I feel like especially just being exposed to everything happening in Palestine and all of that, it's just like it takes the bad away from like some of the things that I was thinking about are like the end of the world for me. I'm like, at least I can go to bed and wake up and have a roof over my head. And like, you know, it made me appreciate some of the smaller stuff that recently I've really taken for granted. Like all of the little, and like I'm just finding shit to complain about my everyday life, where it's like at least I can just like live. Yeah. You know?
And it's not fun to be in that spiral either.
No, exactly.
Like, either like personally or like globally. Like thinking like it's not fun.
Yeah. The only other thing that I had to talk about besides, you know, the end of the world is I went to a wedding this weekend, and it was my first like event where quite literally every single person there was drunk that I've been to since I became sober. And oh my God, it was very interesting. Like, it was so cool because I got to see my friend get married, who was like, did you have like a friend in your friend group who was like, everybody wanted to be friends with them, and not because they were like obnoxious and was like, oh my God, I'm your bestie. Like, they were just like, for being them, people were like, you're cool. Like, she was friends with like everybody from my school, and then like the other, like the rival schools, like without like, to me, like watching, even trying. Like, she just like existed, and like people like enjoyed her company. And so like her wedding was like such just like chill, good vibes, because like that's who she is, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't high stress or like whatever. But I look completely different than I did in high school. So I haven't seen some of these people in like 8 years, right? And I have bangs and I have dark brown hair. And in high school I had my whole forehead showing and bleach blonde hair. And so 90% of the people who I recognized them did not recognize me. And it was awkward because there was moments where it's like, do I say anything, or do I just like pretend like I'm not me? And I just pretended like I wasn't me, and it was very awkward, like multiple times.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
But like the people who I was with, like it was fine because like we know each other, we were friends or whatever. But like being sober around like some of my friends while they were fucked up was like, oh my God. Like, I don't know, like the slurring of the words and like the spilling of the drinks and falling over and shit. Like, I love them to death, but I was like, y'all are like trashed right now. Something about a wedding is just like, also it's an open bar, so like people were just
weddings are like that. Because like, so when I went home for my best friend's wedding, who was like my first ever best friend, love him to death, but like he is still friends with all of his friends from high school, which like in high school I was like in classes with them and stuff, but like it was like your other acquaintances outside of like the two people that like your friends.
Right.
Like, he has a bunch of other friends. I knew them. We were in classes together. Outside of that, like, we weren't really friends. Or I was like, would only hang out with them or talk to them outside of like school if I was with him.
Right.
So like that was it, right? And like they were all there, and we all sat at the table together because like, of course, like, he's not gonna put me with like his grandmother. So like we're all sitting there, and I felt so uncomfortable too, because I'm like, oh my God, like, first of all, you guys are all still friends, one, and two, like, this is just not like I love him, and he's been one of my best friends for literally ever, so I would like never miss this for the world. Your friends. Right, but like also like you guys don't know me now at all. And like whatever, and it was just still like, it was like, I understand that like it was like an out of body experience, like being around them. And then also like they were all like staying at the hotel that was there, and I wasn't, because I was like already had to fly home, like went to my parents' house. Like my parents only lived like 25 minutes from the venue, so I was like, I'm not doing that. So I was like, I wasn't really like drinking like I had a couple of drinks, I gotta go home. Like I gotta drive home. I had drinks, but like not like that. And then like basically everyone else around is like trashed as well. I'm like, I totally get it. And he was trashed.
Really?
Like, oh my God, yeah.
No, there was like this one kid at the wedding, and like it was either her cousin or like his cousin, like somebody's cousin who's probably like 14. And like, if there's one thing about white people at a wedding, it's they're gonna make a fucking dance circle, and they're gonna push people in the middle like we're in 5th grade and have them dance. But there's this one kid who just like wanted to bust down. Like, he was like, I will be the center of the attention. Like, I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. When I say like I've never seen anybody dance like this in my life, like he was like remember when we went to that emo night thing where like these people are living their best lives? That was him, but like to like but also it's the clean version because there's kids there, and he was spinning around on his butt on the floor like in circles, like jumping around, like doing like, I don't even know what he was on, but I was like, I love this for you. And then in the same breath, I'm like looking over at like some of my friends, and they're like just like their whole dresses are wet from just like spilling wine all over the place. And one of my best friends, like I love her to fucking death, she was so drunk, she goes, God, somebody keeps spilling their fucking wine all over me. And I go, bitch, you're spilling your own wine. Like, I watched her do it like 7 times, and she spilled it on me like so many times, and her whole dress was like soaking wet, but she kept being like, who keeps spilling their fucking wine on me? I'm like, it's you. Like, I'm sorry, what? But yeah, being sober at that, and then also talking to people who I haven't talked to in 8 years was very awkward, because a lot of them, it's like, I mean, I kind of did this to myself. I kind of unfollowed everybody from high school who like I'm not like still actively talking to, because I'm like, why would I follow you?
I'm the same way.
So they were like, oh yeah, have you been living here? And I'm like, no, but like it was just like, but we both knew nothing about each other's lives.
No,
you know what I
and
mean?
like it's like the weird like casual, not even casual,
small talk. It's so hard.
And like you have it like 70 times that night of the same conversation. Oh, where are you living now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Are you still with so and so? Yeah. Because
Yeah.
like, you see it on social media. It's like you kind of know, but like
Right.
you don't really know, but like whatever. And you're like, yeah, like we're actually having a kid, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh
shit,
nice.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Are you happy?
Yeah.
Cause like that's really cool. Yeah. So I just like do this little like podcast thing and like kind of just fucking around and like
I know people are like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I work in IT. Like I was like, I'm not going into anything besides that. I'm too sober to talk about myself.
Yeah, I'm like,
it was like one of those things where I was like, I live in Nashville and I work in IT.
I'm like, yeah, I'm just kind of like fucking around these days, just like, you know,
yeah,
seeing what sticks. I don't know.
Yeah, literally, it was so much small talk, but doing that sober was like actually really hard.
Yeah.
Because like at least when you have like a little bit of
you're just kind of like smiling, you're like,
it's like way easier. And like also my friend who I went with is like the most outgoing social person ever. Like I love her to death because like she's gonna get the party started. Like she was like going up to like grandparents and being like, get on the dance floor, like, you know what I mean? Like she's like she's the girl who's gonna get everybody going. And so that was great, but also it was like, since she is already like that sober and then like alcohol was introduced, it was like even more so. And so I was like feeling even more awkward because
also,
I was
are
like
people that like even like your closest friends, like you don't see them on a daily basis because you guys all live in different states.
Right.
So like then also this is one of the first times for you to be around them in a setting like this.
where we're all together at the same time.
Right. And like you're a person who like, and this is like, I'm saying this based off of Emily, one from seeing it, and also two, very much like my sister is like people are gonna come up and talk to you and like want to have that conversation, but like it's very like nerve-wracking for you to have the conversation. So like everyone's like, oh my god, we got to see Emily, she was great, I can't believe we saw her, and you're like,
and in my head I'm like, was I awkward? Did I say too much? Did I not say enough? Like there was one moment when I was talking to this girl.
I'm thinking like you're overthinking like the whole scenario.
1000%. And I was talking to this one girl who like I went to school with. I was never really good friends with her, but like she was friends with my friend who got married, so like therefore like we hung out sometimes. And I was talking to her and like literally I was feeling so awkward. She wasn't being awkward at all. Like she was being so normal and like easy to talk to. The whole time I was just thinking of like what I was going to say next. And I'm like, why are you being weird? Like just fucking talk. Like but I was so awkward the whole time. And then the whole time I was like, I think if I was drunk, I wouldn't be like this. Like I would definitely be like,
no, because I'm a bit different. Like I think.
And that was also a weird thing. People are like, do you want me to grab you a drink? I'm like, I'm okay. And they're like, oh, well, why aren't you drinking? And I'm like, oh, I'm just not drinking tonight. I'm driving us home. And they're like, oh, come on, you can have a few. And it's like, I'm okay. And then I don't know if this is because it was like outsourced bar people or if it was like, I don't know, because we were in like Bentonville, Arkansas. But like I would ask for a soda with lime, and every single time they're like, what kind of soda? And I was like a club soda. They're like, oh, you just want club soda with lime? And I was like, yes. But like every time they're like, what kind of soda? Like a Diet Coke or like whatever. And I'm like, is that not what it's called? Like, because when you say a vodka soda, you don't say a vodka club soda.
No, but I just think that like as the bartender, they're thinking like, and also at an event like that, like you're not sitting at like my bar that's a full-on family restaurant. Like you're sitting at a place that's like you're at a wedding.
You're right.
So they're assuming that everything's gonna have alcohol in it. So like then when you're asking for soda, they're thinking like,
oh, you're
Coke
a child.
Products.
Yeah.
They're like they're not thinking like a soda water.
Yeah.
Like,
so then I said that a couple times, like a soda water, and they were like, so like fizzy. I was like, yes.
That's weird to say after that.
No, like it was just like weird shit like that where I'm like, is this crazy? Like, am I asked? Like, I was like, then I was like thinking to myself, I was like, is this a normal thing to ask for? Like, I don't know. But then I was like, oh, maybe I should have been saying sparkling water. But then I feel like they wouldn't have had sparkling water because it's like a bar. It's not like a, you know what I mean?
Sparkling water isn't club soda.
It's different. I know.
Like it's still some. Also, I like went to it was probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago. One of my friends was in town. and we went and got breakfast in the morning because she was like here for a wedding.
Oh, okay.
So like it wasn't like I couldn't like hang out with her, and also I had to work at night.
Yeah.
So like,
but you're like, we both have this like hour and a half of like
yeah.
free
So like
time.
I like picked her up, like we went and got breakfast, and it was over in East, and people had like all these people had Topo Chicos, and I was like, I need to go buy a case of them. I forget about them all the time, and then I see them and I'm like,
yeah,
I want.
When we were in Mexico,
so bad.
that was like all we
pounded them, and
it's so good.
Honestly,
it's like one of the best sparkling waters.
I love club soda now. Like I honestly, when Emily met me, I was not a club soda.
Yeah,
girly.
she was a tonic.
I was a tonic girly,
a diet tonic, right?
Yeah, I like diet because I didn't want the sugar, but
it's still sweet. Like it still has like that sweetness.
But now I love club soda. I still like tonic.
Ugh, I can't do it.
I still like tonic, but I only like tonic when it's mixed with like vodka. Because I don't like a vodka soda. I like a vodka tonic, but I like a tequila soda. I don't like a tequila tonic.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
I don't think I've ever had a tequila soda.
Really?
No.
I have tequila sodas all the time.
I only ever had like just tequila shots, or like if I had a tequila drink, I'd get a margarita or a Paloma. But I never had a, or like a, do you know what a ranch water is?
Well, that's it. That's tequila with soda and lime juice. So
I guess, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess that I have
that's like
had that.
That's my go-to drink right now. It's technically a ranch water, but I don't like
they don't have
sugary
any sweet stuff in it.
Well, you can put Rose's lime juice, and that has like more sugar, but I just like the lime. Like I like to just squeeze some lime.
I feel like whenever I've had like a ranch water, it's no, maybe it doesn't have like sweet and sour, but I feel like it was never.
Not sweet. If it has like a little green tint to it, or like a little tint, it's not like clear. It's Rose's lime juice,
so it's not like squeezed lime.
No,
gotcha.
So that's what makes it a ranch water, but I like it with the fresh squeezed limes better.
Yeah.
So that's why I just do a
tequila soda.
I do a tequila soda with like a lime on the side, and then I can squeeze it.
That makes sense.
That's like my go-to drink recently.
Because don't they traditionally put a ranch water in a Topo Chico? Like they pour out half of it, or not half of it, but a bit, and then they add the thing into it. Isn't that where it started? Because it's
probably
like a Texas thing.
Yeah, probably. I'm assuming it would be a Topo Chico too. But no, I saw those and ever since that I'm like, I want to get like a case of them. But like, I don't know.
Also, something just feels so bougie about drinking out of like a
bottle. I know. Oh my gosh. At work we have Pellegrinos, and I want to drink one so bad, but I have to pay for them because like they're expensive. But like I can't just like, we're out of the tap. I can just take soda water for free. So I like want one just because it feels bougie.
It does. We just got Spindrifts at our office, and they're just like the cans.
Yeah.
But like there's this other like sparkling water brand that like I've had before. It was like when the like a Virgin Sober Bar girls came, that brand in like the glass bottle.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Evertree.
Those are I don't remember what it's called, but those are so good. And I was like almost got them to buy those for the office, but I'm like, this is stupid because we're spending like $10 more for like 4 sodas.
No, those are so good though. Those
good.
are delicious. No, I know. I really want Topo Chico, but yeah, actually,
that's being adult is liking sparkling water.
Weirdly enough, actually, she's coming back this weekend because one of our friends is getting married on Friday, so we're going to a wedding Friday. So it's weird that you
here.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, she's getting married in Hendersonville. So
okay,
Friday night, that's what I'm doing, which is like I'm kind of excited, but like also like okay, so this was like my group of friends like. These are my sister's friends in college that when I moved here.
Oh, they lived here?
Yeah, I became friends with them and like we like stayed friends and everything. But it's like funny because like when I like technically met them, they're like only a year older than me now, right?
Okay.
So, well, one of them I knew when she was actually like in college, right? But the rest of them I met like at like 27 years old, 28 years old. And now like they all have relationships and are getting married and having kids.
You're saying
like,
they're in their 30s now.
Yeah, like now they're in their 30s and like.
But when you met them, they're like your age.
Yeah, right now,
okay,
which is like kind of like weird to like see the evolution of them like go from like party girl stage still where like I was when I moved down here to now like relationship, getting married. One of them has a kid. Like,
that was me at this wedding. It's like I haven't seen y'all in 8 years.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
But like the thing of it is like these people are still like actively in my life, not like day to day because they don't all live here anymore, but you're at least like keeping up on socials and, well, like we talk to each other, like we have a group chat, like we all talk and stuff. So it's just like crazy to like think that like when I met these people 4 years ago that like it's actually crazy to think that I was like planning to move here like 4 years ago.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I know.
Like mentally,
when I think about time, it's too much. I can't
believe I've been here for 4 years already.
Right. I can't believe we've been out of college for over 4 years.
Yeah, I've been out for. Well, I graduated in 2019.
Mine is 2020. So like, it's like going on 4 years.
Yeah. That's so weird. And then I moved down here like after college. Yeah. And you did too. And it's weird to think that like I've be basically like the thought of being here was for 4 years.
Yeah.
But then like
No. I totally get you. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna do grad school. I'm gonna work here for like 2 years and then I'm gonna move.
Yeah.
And like I'm still here. And then people are like, well, how long do you think you're gonna stay here? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. You know, actually I was thinking that today.
Do you need to know? Like when you're done? Like I feel like that's such a weird question to ask somebody because like I would never ask somebody who like lives in my hometown, like, how long do you plan on staying here?
Yeah.
But like
because I think that everyone thinks you're gonna come back home. Like for people like because you went to like an at-home wedding, right? So they're like, oh, it's a little thing she's doing, but she's gonna move back to the hometown, do the hometown life because I think that's like their dream, right? And that's that's what normalcy is to older society, I would say. But like that's like
settled down like at your like hometown.
Like I don't see
but
myself.
I think that's just so different though. For like if it were you and I, and like let's say we meet somebody here and they're also not from here and they're also not from where your hometown is. So like I feel like then that wouldn't be normal. Yeah. Like it wouldn't be like assumed that you guys moved home because then it's like, okay, well, one of us is home.
This is home with that person.
Yeah. And like, but all the people at the wedding that I went to, all married people from the same hometown.
That's what I'm saying. So I feel like that comment was like basically like, when are you coming back here? Because like to them that's their normalcy. Right. And like this is that's what they did. You're playing right now. Like your play life. Like you're not doing.
It was funny though because I was like, I don't know. Like I don't know how much longer I'm gonna stay in Nashville. Like my friend just moved down here. We're getting like a house together. So like I mean, at least a couple more years. Yeah. And then they're like, oh yeah, and then what are your plans after that? I'm like, I don't know, probably go to a coast or something. I'm tired of living in the middle of America. Yeah. And they were like, oh, like New York and I was like, I don't know. I don't really have any plans. And then I was like thinking about it. I was like, do people have this like fucking 20-year plan laid out? Because like I'm just kind of living it day by day.
Okay, so the way I was like watching YouTube, I was painting my toenails like earlier before you came, and I was thinking the same thing because I was like, okay, like not that I don't love living in Nashville, but like also my house is like not my forever home. Like I'm not living in this place forever. Right. So it's like that's a part of it, number one.
Right.
But then number two, like I was like, where would my next move be? And I was like, honestly, like the only other place besides like a beach or like I guess technically like LA, you could say like LA area, would be like New York City.
Right.
Like that's the only other place that I would move to because like I don't even want to move to Philly. And, like that's just like not appealing to me. But like and because I'm also like okay, like me.
But
being
then
older,
nowhere else on the East Coast do I want to live. Like,
no,
especially like the Southeast. I'm not doing.
No,
that.
I don't want to go. Florida,
get me the fuck out of North Carolina, Florida, South Carolina, like all that shit. Like no, I
no.
can't.
Also like North Carolina and South Carolina, like beautiful, but like nothing for me.
For like when I'm 80.
Yeah, like there's nothing for me there right now. Right. Like my aunt's retirement home is perfect.
Florida too. I'm like maybe if I'm like old and don't want to pay like income tax
like
or like
Texas doesn't even sound
property
great.
Tax.
Like
no, dude, I've lived in Texas. Shit is not great.
No,
shit sucks.
No, shit's hot.
Yeah, shit's hot and also like it's stupid big for no reason. Yeah. Like there's so much space with really nothing.
Nothing on it. Yeah, no, I've been there multiple times because one of my friends lived there for a minute. So I'd visit her. But yeah, I was thinking about that literally today as I was watching YouTube. I was like,
well, and then what's so crazy is like when I think about those two places, I'm the same boat. I'm like, if I don't move to California, I'll probably move to New York, right? Because it's like, genuinely, I want to live on a coast. I'm definitely more of an East Coast mentality in terms of like, you know, my sense of humor, like my pace in life, like whatever. But at the same time, I'm more of a California in terms of the weather.
Yeah, same. That's what I was thinking. Because I was like,
but also like both right now, financially, I couldn't do.
No, I was thinking like, the same thing today.
And so I'm like thinking right now, I'm like, okay, well, like I want to like in a perfect world, I think I would move to like Southern California.
Yes.
That's where I would want to be. I have a friend who like lives there and like every time she posts something, I'm like so jealous of her life.
I know.
And also like
financially, like I feel like I couldn't do anything at either place. Even in Southern California.
She's like living in like a dual income because like her partner and her like, they've been dating for a long time and like so that definitely helps out.
Well, and I was thinking too because like the one girl that I was watching, she lives in New York City and like I don't know, her name is like Morgan something. That was one of her videos when you came in. You're like, what in the hell?
Oh, yeah.
And I turned it off because I was like, I don't know what she was talking about. She was going on some rant. I don't know.
She was in that doomsday mentality.
Yeah, which was fine. Like, everyone has it. We have that moment. But, like,
she's like, what if I step outside and get hit by a car?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what's happening?
Yeah, no. But she, like, I like her, like, style and, like, how she, like, runs her, like, business.
Yeah.
And that's why I enjoy watching her, if I'm being honest. Like, the rest of it is just kind of, like, just she posts it, so I consume it. But she lives in New York City, and I was thinking the same thing because she was like talking about how she was walking through like her old neighborhood that she lived in when she first moved to New York, and she's like, I feel like when you move to New York, like you have to have that like one bad apartment because like you can't afford it. You just moved here, experience.
Like you have the
like,
roaches,
the rats, the leaks, the terrible
your
like,
neighbors. Suck,
yeah, she was like talking about that, and then that's what made me start thinking, right? And I was like, okay, like if I moved to New York, like I genuinely would not want to live like that. And I was like, if I moved to New York City, Emily would for sure move to New York City.
1,000%.
Like I'm literally, this was my whole thought process. I'm like, Emily would for sure move to New York City. My parents would appreciate me being in New York.
My parents would hate it, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
But also there's a direct flight to New York from my parents' airport, which they don't have to fucking Nashville.
Well,
so like
for me, I could take the train down for my parents to pick me up because I literally live, my parents' house is like 3 hours from New York and then New York City, and then my sister lives like an hour.
Right.
So like for my family like reasons, it would just be like more convenient for my life, I guess. Not in like a mean way to you, but I was like Emily would move with me, and then I was like,
my
and then
family
we could live
is
together.
quite literally in the middle of the country, so it doesn't matter where I go.
Yeah,
I'm going far away.
Yeah, and then I was like, so we could live together because like Leo doesn't bother her, like she's cool with Leo, like it'd be cool, we could at least have like a nicer place. And I was like, but then like would we kill each other? Yeah, I was like, because I'm the person who leaves out a little bit of a mess. Yeah, Emily's not. And I was sort of like going through like if we could like actually have a business and live together. But I was like, but
I feel like we could.
I said, but if we live separate, I think financially it would just be a terrible decision for both of us.
It would be stupid because also like exactly, like financially neither one of us could live in the part of New York that I'm sure both of us would want to live in. That's like accessible, it's walkable. Like that's the whole reason you move to a city like New York is like to take advantage of the train. Because that's the one thing I hate about
Nashville is the accessibility isn't there.
No, I think it's the like top 10 least like walkable cities in America. Yeah, like if I'm not mistaken, I think it's like number 6.
Yeah, like it's not accessible. Like,
it sucks. It's the worst in like
you have to drive.
Yeah, and there's not even sidewalks here. Like when I run, I just run on the street. Yeah, and cars drive like so fucking fast on like back roads.
That's because there's like so much construction, so like they're all gated off. Like if there even is a sidewalk, it's just gated off.
I think my favorite thing by me, and this is just proof of how unwalkable it is we have a handicap park that they built. Like handicap accessible park that they built over by where I live, but there's no sidewalks on the road to get to it.
Yeah, there's no
there's no parking lot, so it's like you couldn't just pull your car up like and like get out on your wheelchair and then go into it because there's no way to get up on.
Literally, I don't think I've ever seen a single soul.
The only people I've ever seen there are like people who definitely just like live right across the street and they like bring their kids there and they like sit on their phone.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but like it is the dumbest thing ever, and I was like, this is just like
on like a busy road too,
and like it's actually like comical because I'm like they really like it was just such proof that it was like to meet the quota for the city we must have one handicap park, but they're like, but we don't have sidewalks anywhere, so like I guess we'll just put it here.
But also
it makes no
the crazy
sense.
thing to me is if you drive like not even 1 minute on the right hand side, there's a huge ass park.
Yeah. But like that's for kickball. That's for people who are able bodied.
Yeah, but that's the crazy thing to me is that there's like parking and shit over there, but like they literally could have just moved it and put it to one side of the park over there to make it more accessible.
And that comes off the greenway. So like technically that's like a biking / walking trail, which is handicap accessible. But it's just like saying. It's one of those things where it's like you live in a city like, and I've realized this like especially from running, that's like does not give a fuck about the pedestrians.
Yeah. No, well, so Jamie from the like a sober version bar, her and I were talking because she just was up in Vermont for like the past 2 months, right? And her and I were like messaging back and forth because she was like, I just feel like the North is just so much more advanced in like the way of thinking and like not even like technology, but like technology compared to the South. Like she's like coming back to Nashville has actually been like a transition to like mentality and the way that people are and like the pace and like all of that. Yeah, and I 1000% agree.
It really is. And I mean that's not to bring it back to politics, but it's proof in the political people in power. It's like we have a party here in control that doesn't really give a shit about people. They give a shit about money. And controlling people. So why would we make it better for people? Like we don't want those kind of progressive people who enjoy all of that to live here in the first place. So like we want you to live here with your gun wielding whatever the fuck in your 17-acre farm and then come to the city when you get bored. Like, and that's the only strip of road that we're going to make accessible because we're gonna put stuff right next to each other. But
That's
other
so
than
true.
that, have fun. You can't even go to
Right.
like even like in like 12 South, like I'm thinking about, which is like a neighborhood in Nashville that's like technically just one strip of like businesses and stuff. Even that's not even technically accessible because there's no fucking parking.
Yeah,
There's
you
like
park on,
one parking
streets.
lot, and then it's like street parking, but it's a neighborhood.
Yeah.
So then you're like parking in people's front yard. Like this city makes no sense for people.
Yeah, I mean, I do enjoy it. Like,
It
I
makes
don't-
sense for party buses.
Yeah, I don't really. It's not like we're talking like we hate the city. Like I don't
No.
actually hate it,
But it doesn't
like,
feel like a city.
No, I see. I tell people that all the time. I'm like, so coming from like Philly and New York and like growing up like around those two like cultures
Yeah.
is like also this feels like a fake city because of it. But like they are just more like hustle and bustle, and like the way that you speak and the way that you act and the way that you present yourself is just so different compared to here. And like
Yeah.
I've known this, but I really think my job now, like especially like being in the role that I'm at, really shows that I was like I grew up in the north and have
Yeah.
such a northern mentality still, because like they think that I'm mean.
Yeah.
And they think that I like work too hard and I'm like a try hard. I'm like, no, I'm literally just doing the job description.
Yeah.
That's all. But like you're not even doing that, and not even like a mean way, but like you don't even do that.
Right.
But I'm doing the job description, so it looks like I'm doing the most.
Right.
But then also the way that I speak to you isn't mean, because like where I'm from, the way that I speak to you, I do come off harsh sometimes depending on how I speak, and I do understand that. But I also know that the way that I speak and I like carry myself is just such a northern mentality way, like
Right.
especially like in working, that like it isn't.
You're not trying to be cold or like shutting
I'm
down.
not trying to be
It's
rude.
just like this is how I was raised.
This
and,
is
like,
just what you do. Like,
and here it's so different.
no,
It's
because like if you don't, oh my god, you have to almost like sit them down, hold their hands, tell them that they look pretty.
You baby adults here, and that's
tell
what I
them
can't
like,
stand.
you're so cute, you're so pretty, I love your outfit today, but by the way, I don't appreciate, like, no, where I'm from, I would get fucking just like, no, you fucked up. Mm-hmm. And this is why you fucked up, and because you fucked up, here's your punishment, and you deal with it. Like this past weekend, my entire staff was late showing up for work except for 3 people. So those 3 people, I gave them bigger sections. Also, it was a Sunday, so the Titans played.
Right.
Which, like, you walking in 3 minutes before we open the doors, not great.
Yeah.
Not great, because they play an hour later, so people are lined up at the door to come in.
Right.
Not a good idea. So I gave them every person that was late got a 4-table section. If you can't be here on time to help serve the restaurant, you don't have time to make money on the clock. I don't really care. Mm-hmm. Everyone else that was here, they had fat sections and they all made money. I don't really care. Yesterday when I went to work, they still did not speak to me and did not like, I was like, just because you were never held accountable.
It's the pettiness here.
Yeah, the pettiness is real here. And I'm petty, but like there's a difference, because I held you accountable for your actions. I wrote them up because I had to. Like, you're 57 minutes late for work. Like, I have to write you up.
Well, I feel like the difference is like you're not passive aggressive, where it's like in the South, like it's like kill them with kindness kind of thing. So it's almost like the people who are the nicest are actually the biggest dickheads. It's that bless your heart mentality.
Yeah.
Like, oh, poor you. I'm so sorry. Like, let me take care of it because you're incompetent. Like, you know what I mean?
No.
But they're never going to tell you to your face, like, you're bad at your job.
No, and I just was straight up like, I laid into them, but it's neither here nor there. Not in like a mean way. It was just very like authoritative of like, we can't fucking do this. And then they still, like, I held you accountable for your actions, and either that you never have been, or it's the mentality of the South of being like, I treated them like we were in the North. Yeah. And my boss tells me all the time, like, you're harsh sometimes in your delivery. I'm like, no, that's not actually it. I'm just like, where I'm from, this is nice. Yeah. Where I'm from, I'm being nice.
Yeah. At least I'm not telling you to like fuck off and like leave.
Yeah. Because like, no. But I was thinking that though,
it is
going
funny.
back to like, what we were saying, it was like, yeah, like, I feel like New York would do good for us.
Yeah, because also like LA or like anywhere in like California isn't walkable either. It's like you still have to drive, so it's like you don't get that part of the city. Like it's still kind of Nashville vibes.
Well, I feel like I think that LA would be good, as in like the weather and like
that's the only reason I would want to live there.
Literally,
it's literally just so it like the
would
weather
be sunny all the time,
and it wouldn't be too hot.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't ever get too cold. It's like that Cabo weather.
Yeah,
you know
like
I mean?
I feel
it's like dry. It's never humid.
California would be great for weather, but then outside of that, I still think
I don't think I would like the people there.
My thing is that like my mentality already here in the South is so different. Like when I go home, I'm like work, like gotta go. Like my mentality is so much different, and then I come here and I feel like I'm lazy.
No, it's so real though, because I feel like when you have and this definitely isn't everywhere in the South, because I'm sure there's jobs where it's like you're pushed and it's difficult, but I will say, like, it's definitely not as intense.
It's a very lackadaisical, like,
yeah.
So going from,
and it's kind of, it's like lax until it's not, and then it's like you're kind of like, wait, what was the switch up? And like I feel like
then it's frantic.
Not that people don't get laid off in the North or like in anywhere else in the world, but I feel like in the South you're like really thinking you're doing a good job, and then out of nowhere it's like, bye, we cut your entire department. See ya, good luck. Like that's
well, they do that in the North too.
No, like, totally. But like I feel like here it's like you don't even see it coming, because like your boss is just so nice, and like it's almost like the whole like the kill him with kindness thing. Like there's like, it's just such a different way of the world.
Yeah, no,
but I've always had friends. It's so funny. Every friend I've ever had who's like we get along well and like our friendship lasts are all from the Northeast. And when I first met like a bunch of the girls in my sorority, they didn't believe that I was from there, because I just don't have that like, oh sweetheart, like you are so pretty, and like not that I'm not a nice person, but I don't go like, I don't do that fake shit, like and that's like so common in the South, and like, and I feel like that's why people are like, people in the South are so nice, and I'm like, they're not though, because people in the South talk more shit than anybody else. They talk shit so hard, and it's the worst type of shit talking, because they are so nice to your face. The moment you turn around, the gossip is brewing and the tea is hot, and you are getting dragged. Then you show up and everybody's your bestie again.
No, literally. Okay, so
it's so confusing.
That was like, so at work yesterday, a couple of them were like still super nice of like,
and you're like, hey, I know y'all are pissed at me.
Hey, blah blah blah. A couple of them didn't speak at all. But then the crazier part is that later I find out that they're saying all this shit in a group chat with another manager. Yeah. Who I'm like friends with, and she was like, girl. Yeah. And she was like, I literally told him that like your job is like, it was
I'm
your
job. Your boss. Like at the end of the day, we're not best friends.
Right.
And
right.
Like, yeah. No, that's just so real in the South. It's like nobody will be nicer to your face and meaner behind your back than somebody from the fucking South.
Yeah, in the North it's so different. I'm gonna just tell you to your face, and then whatever I said to your face, I'm also gonna say behind your back, but at least I said it to your face.
Yeah,
that's just
because
how it is.
Also it's like, yeah, like I'm not gonna waste your time in me, and also there's just like so much beating around the bush here, and I feel like that's also why I'm kind of like off-putting to like Southern people, because I'm not really like that. Like I don't care to be like, if I don't enjoy you, I'm not going to really pretend like I do. Yeah. And it's not that I'm going to be mean to you, but I'm just not going to go out of my way to be like, oh my God, how is your mom? Is she still like, but dude, that was the wedding I went to. It was like people were talking to me like we never missed a fucking beat, and we were still besties, and I'm like, dude, I haven't talked to you in 8 years, and no offense, I unfollowed you on everything. So clearly I don't care about your life. And like, I'm so happy that you're happy, but like, why are you acting like, and like, taking photos and being like, oh my God, I love you, and I'm like, you don't love me though, you don't know me. Yeah, like no. But it's just so fake, and because you know behind my back, and there were so many, oh my God, I love the podcast, I listen every week, and in my head I'm like, you don't though, and it's okay to not even acknowledge it.
It's like, okay, because actually we can see the algorithm, we can see exactly where you listen
and
from,
no, and all y'all fucking liars in Arkansas, that is the smallest fucking state out of all of the states, literally all of the states. California's our biggest, New York's our second. Then there's Texas. Arkansas is like literally the very bottom. And I'm from there. So all you fucking fake people who are like, oh my God, I listen every week and I love it and da 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 da. I wanted to be like, name one thing that I've ever talked about.
Yeah, besides the first episode. Yeah. Thank you.
But I don't know. It's just so funny because like growing up in the South though, like you dread going to social events and shit like that. But it's never bad because you go and everybody's fake as fuck.
See, yeah, there's a difference where it's like you're gonna see people's true colors.
No, like I was so nervous.
I mean, it's still a face though. It's all still fake though. Yeah, events are always fake. It doesn't matter what it's for.
But I was like still so nervous because I was like, God, I haven't talked to these people in so long. It's not like we had falling outs, but like, I just don't really care. No,
didn't matter.
We were still quote besties and whatever the fuck. Like everybody I talked to, and it was great. But in my head, I'm like, I know this is so fake.
Yeah. So, I mean, you let us know. Northern or Southern mentality. What do you like better?
Tap in. Let us know. I appreciate Southern mentality from strangers. Yeah. But from my friends, don't do that shit.
Yeah.
If you're actually upset with me, just let me know. Yeah. Don't be like, la, 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 and then talk shit behind my back and then accidentally send like a screenshot in the wrong group message. You're like, oh my God, I literally What?
That was my mom.
I didn't mean to do that. What the heck? I was saying how awesome you were. Not that like I hate
I
your
didn't even
guts
screenshot it. That wasn't even me.
Yeah, literally. Like the amount of times that happened like in group messages like when I was in high school was crazy.
I didn't even screenshot it.
Yeah.
I don't know my phone. My phone just did that.
Oh my god, how did that happen?
I didn't even mean to text that person. What do you mean?
Crazy.
The person I made my contacts.
Yeah, I actually love you so much and I want to be your friend for forever. And I didn't mean any of that horrible shit I just said.
Yeah, no.
And then just go on acting like it never happened.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you guys for listening to another episode of Society 97. My name is Kelmer K. You can find me at Kelmer K on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
And I'm Emily Starnes. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Starnsy. And if you Google my name, a girl got arrested for murdering a cab driver with the same name as me. That's a fun fact there. You can find me, or you can find the podcast at society97.pod on the Instagram, where you can DM us whenever you want. And you can follow us on TikTok at Society97pod, where we post clips from the show.
And we have our YouTube channel, which is Society97, where you can listen to the video version of the podcast every single Friday. And on Tuesdays, we put out fun little videos. They're always random. So make sure you're keeping up to date over there to see our lives outside of the podcast. So subscribe, turn on post notifications. That's it. We love you guys. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.